Welcome to the sunny streets of Long Beach. The championship returns to this brutal concrete canyon where survival is absolutely everything. It is a gloriously clear day, but these unforgiving barriers wait for no one. Martin Bailey starts on pole. Muzzer is right alongside him. The revs build, the red lights extinguish, and the green flag drops. We are furiously racing down the stunning shore.
Muzzer gets an absolutely phenomenal launch off the starting line there, immediately pouncing on Bailey. Before turn one, he completely clears him and forcefully snatches away that vital lead. Getting the power down smoothly on cold tyres is so incredibly tricky here, but he managed the weight transfer perfectly to confidently seize first place.
Further back into the pack, Daniel Bourne cleanly slips past Norchi, moving himself up into sixth position. That was a brilliantly opportunistic move, getting the crucial job done early while the field is bunched. I'm telling you, Anthony, first place is legitimately cursed here. There's a Long Beach ghoul that constantly urges whoever leads to touch those nasty walls. It whispers stupid things into their helmets.
Oh, please stop with that nonsense, Martin. There is absolutely no invisible ghost forcing drivers to hit the wall. It is simply a combination of cold tyres, heavy fuel loads, and sheer panic under intense racing pressure.
Rafin launches a very bold attack on Alpha Quad for third. Alpha aggressively defends the position, squeezing him tight, but Rafin bravely holds his nerve and powerfully muscles his way past to make it stick. But seriously, Ant, I have seen the ghoul urge me to kiss the concrete during my own racing days. It says something utterly stupid in your ear, and you honestly just cannot help yourself. You find your steering wheel mysteriously pulling towards the dangerous barrier.
Well, supernatural entities aside, Bailey is showing tremendous pace in second place. He is steadily closing the gap to Muzzer up front. You can see him expertly managing the brake bias, setting himself up beautifully for a genuine challenge on the leader.
Alpha Quad surges past Tomo and MTG for fourth.
Absolute chaos behind. Bourne, MTG and Rafin all collide. Huge accident ruins their progress.
Tomo miraculously survives the absolute carnage, getting back underway to snatch fifth place. Race control immediately throws double yellow flags. That is a disastrous incident for those involved.
The safety car is officially deployed. That monumental pile-up leaves debris everywhere, freezing the pack. Muzzer leads us around, followed by Bailey and Alpha Quad. This gives everyone a crucial moment to catch their breath. While pacing under this safety car, Muzzer is dangerously vulnerable right now. That awful ghoul whispers stupid things into his ear, and eventually you just blindly obey the dark command of the concrete walls.
It is a racetrack, Martin, not an amusement park haunted house. Muzzer is a seasoned professional driver. He is certainly not hearing phantom voices telling him to deliberately wreck a perfectly good racing car.
I swear I have physically seen it out there, a pale figure lounging on the apex, casually urging you to kiss the concrete. It completely mesmerizes you and you simply cannot resist its pull.
You probably just saw a sleepy marshal eating a sandwich in the early morning fog. Please, I beg you, focus on the actual motorsport happening right in front of us instead of silly fairy tales.
Just you wait. Historically, absolutely nobody stays in first place here for very long. The ghost always eventually draws them directly into the barriers. Hungry for its latest victim. Mark my words right now.
While we are debating mythology, Tomo has strategically chosen to enter the pit lane given the heavy damage he sustained earlier. Getting fresh rubber and some quick repairs under this yellow flag is crucial.
Tomo ducks into the pits early. He is a very smart man. He is completely abandoning the circuit and hiding away in the brightly lit garage where he knows it is much safer from terrifying racing apparitions.
Tomo has safely arrived at his pit box, completing the necessary stop. The mechanics scramble to assess the damage while the rest of the field continues circulating slowly behind the safety car, eagerly waiting.
Just look at Daniel Bourne lurking ominously back there in fourth. He totally knows the dark legend of this track. He is brilliantly letting the others act as bait while the ghoul claims victims.
Bourne is managing his tyre temperatures effectively under the yellow flag conditions. He is certainly not running some ridiculous ghost hunting operation out there. He is preparing his racing lines for the upcoming restarts.
Then tell me exactly why he is deliberately leaving that massive gap to the cars ahead. He absolutely does not want to accidentally inherit the highly cursed dirty air circulating up at the front.
Because we are driving slowly behind a safety car, Martin, you are needlessly turning basic track procedure and tyre delta management into a fictional supernatural thriller film. He is just saving his fragile brakes.
I'm just saying, if I'm Daniel Bourne right now, I absolutely do not want to take first place. Let the hungry ghoul feast upon poor Muzza, instead sacrificing him to the walls.
Muzza looks perfectly fine navigating these corners. I see absolutely no erratic steering inputs through his telemetry, and he is definitively not shouting wildly at angry spirits on the open team radio frequency today.
But the ghoul is extremely patient, Ant. It always waits for the green flags to drop before it starts whispering those utterly stupid, absolutely irresistible things into your ear that ruin your whole race.
We go green. Watch Muzza drive completely normally, proving this ghost nonsense utterly wrong.
The safety car pulls off, the green flag waves, and racing finally resumes here.
Immediately, Daniel Bourne turns up the intensity. He is throwing incredible pressure onto the back of Alpha Quad for third place. Bourne kept those front tyres much warmer during the safety car period, allowing him to attack the braking zones with significantly more confidence through these tight technical sections.
Bailey blasts past Muzza to retake the absolute lead of this race, but look at Muzza, he violently slams straight into the wall. I told you the curse of first place is entirely real. The Long Beach ghoul whispered directly into his ear and he could not resist smashing into that unforgiving solid grey concrete barrier.
While Bailey escapes up ahead, Daniel Bourne is now completely glued to the gearbox of Alpha Quad for second place. He is forcing Alpha to take defensive lines, compromising his corner exits and drastically increasing the psychological pressure.
Alpha Quad is absolutely nose to tail with Bailey, now hungrily waiting for the perfect split second to steal the lead.
But Daniel is brilliantly refusing to relent. He is maintaining massive pressure on Alpha Quad lap after consecutive lap. Bourne knows that if Alpha is obsessively watching Bailey ahead, he might just forget to defend his own rear bumper. This is an absolutely classic high-stakes game of intense, relentless motorsport chess between these three brilliant drivers.
Look slightly further back, Rafin is swarming all over the rear wing of MTG, frantically searching for any possible opening. They are both pushing the absolute maximum limits of mechanical grip to secure that valuable fourth place.
And incredibly recovering bravely from that supernatural wall strike, Muzza is already challenging Rafin.
Rafin is tucked perfectly into the slipstream of MTG down this long straight. He is right in his wheel tracks, letting the aerodynamic toe pull him closer before the heavy braking zone. MTG is weaving slightly to break the draft, but Rafin stays absolutely locked onto his target like a highly focused, deadly heat-seeking missile. Alpha Quad snatches the lead away from Bailey, but look, as soon as Martin drops back, he spears directly into the exact same wall. It is undeniable now. The curse demands a sacrifice from the front row. The ghoul lured him straight into the concrete. First place is completely toxic, and Alpha Quad has just inherited the most dangerous position in world motorsport today.
Despite the collision, Martin survived and recovered immediately. He is aggressively pushing Alpha Quad, refusing to surrender the fight for first. He is surprisingly resilient despite that heavy impact. And Daniel remains safely tucked in third, happily letting Martin take the brunt of the pressure while constantly hunting for an overtaking opportunity.
Martin is completely swarming Alpha Quad right now. He is desperately trying to clear him and retake the lead, boldly ignoring the very real threat of the Phantom Wars. He is weaving across the track, filling those mirrors and forcing Alpha to bravely defend every single tight corner entry. The cursed ghost violently demands his next victim.
Oh, absolute massive drama. Martin and Daniel cleanly bypass Alpha Quad, but suddenly Alpha plunges straight into the tyre barrier. He entirely locked up without even braking properly. He is miraculously back moving again though.
See, I absolutely told you so. Alpha takes first place and instantly gets magnetically drawn straight into those unforgiving tyres. The Long Beach ghoul proudly claimed another helpless victim today. It is totally real.
Okay, I must admit that was an incredibly strange lockup. Reviewing the onboard telemetry, he was not even braking hard there. He genuinely just drove straight off the track into the barriers without...
Told you! The Whispering Ghost made him steer directly into rubber.
Focusing fully on the actual track action, Muzza beautifully executes a smooth pass on MTG to brilliantly secure third place.
Incredible, shocking drama. MTG immediately snaps right back at Muzza to reclaim third position, and Rafin brutally follows him through for fourth. Muzza crashes into the unforgiving wall once again at turn one. The sinister ghost remains completely unsatisfied with just one victim. It is ruthlessly targeting these vulnerable drivers time after devastating time today.
Further down the order, Clinton Norchie finally dives into the relative safety of the pit lane for some very much needed service. Honestly, navigating the entrance here requires huge precision, and with all this surrounding carnage, just finding the pit lane entrance safely is an absolute achievement in itself for any struggling driver out there today.
Norchie pulls perfectly into his designated box, breathing a heavy sigh of genuine relief. The mechanics immediately descend upon his battered machine, preparing him for the final stint.
What a spectacular sequence from Rayfin. He boldly forces his way past MTG, snatching third place with a beautifully aggressive lunge on the tight inside. MTG left the door slightly ajar during the tricky braking phase, and Rayfin exploited that tiny geometric vulnerability with absolutely ruthless precision to heavily punish him for that slight defensive error.
They are absolutely side by side now. MTG refuses to yield fourth place quietly, battling back against Rayfin with enormous tenacity. They are scraping paint through these incredibly narrow corners. This is phenomenal wheel-to-wheel racing, completely free of any supernatural interference. Just two fantastic drivers totally giving it everything.
MTG remains completely glued to the rear bumper of Rayfin. They are passionately exchanging blows, blissfully unaware of the supposedly haunted real estate waiting further up the grid. Their entire mental focus is solely dedicated to decisively outbraking each other right here.
MTG is desperately searching for any way past Rayfin. This fierce mid-pack battle is genuinely vicious. There are absolutely no ghosts present down here, just pure, beautiful, unadulterated aggression between two outstandingly fierce competitors. They can certainly afford to be incredibly brave right now. The terrifying Long Beach Ghoul only actively haunts the prestigious penthouse suite of the entire leaderboard, totally ignoring these intensely battling mid-pack mortals.
MTG is currently throwing absolutely everything in his arsenal directly at Rayfin. He is completely desperate to make a passing manoeuvre stick before his tyres overheat from following so closely in this incredibly dirty. MTG stubbornly pressures Rayfin to...
MTG brilliantly clears Rayfin for third. Rayfin scraped the wall defensively, leaving his bonnet flapping wildly. Meanwhile, Muzzer looks completely wounded from his earlier supernatural impact, desperately struggling to regain his lost racing.
Looking at the newly updated leaderboard, Bailey impressively holds first place over Bourne. MTG sits comfortably in third, while Rayfin drags that damaged car in fourth, just ahead of his severely wounded Muzzer in fifth position overall.
Muzzer locks directly into the powerful aerodynamic slipstream of Rayfin. Even with a heavily damaged car, his incredible competitive spirit refuses to yield. He wants fourth place back immediately. He is aggressively bullying that severely battered machine forward, dragging every single possible... How is Bailey miraculously surviving the...
Muzzer and Rayfin are completely side by side, two incredibly wounded cars fighting tenaciously for track position. Neither driver is willing to concede an inch of tarmac here.
Muzzer finally completes the overtake for fourth, but Rayfin responds with a wildly optimistic defensive dive bomb. It ends in absolute disaster as they violently collide, sending Rayfin slamming directly into the solid wall. Yet again, the suspension geometry must be entirely ruined after that massive hit. The treacherous circuit claims absolutely another helpless
Muzzer relentlessly pursues MTG.
Muzzer forcefully forces his heavily battered machine absolutely side by side with MTG. He is fearlessly throwing caution entirely to the wind right here. They beautifully dance through the complex corners, and Muzzer sensationally snatches third place away. What an unbelievably dramatic recovery drive from someone who was intimately acquainted with the concrete barriers just a handful of chaotic laps ago.
Disaster strikes Alpha Quad yet again. He completely loses rear traction and wildly spins his car around at the notoriously tight left-hander. Tomo gratefully accepts the massive gift, smoothly...
Look back at Bailey up front, listen closely to his open team radio. He is actively blasting absolutely deafening heavy metal music directly over the communication system. You can genuinely hear the roaring guitars.
He is quite literally drowning out the dangerous ghostly whispers with sheer volume. That is an absolutely genius, undeniably ridiculous countermeasure to the Long Beach curse. The evil entity cannot even make it.
Meanwhile, Clinton and Rayfin are having their own completely mortal, purely physical battle down at the back of the pack.
Clinton displays formidable late race pace, rapidly catching Rayfin.
They aggressively run side by side through the complex. Neither of them desires to finish last today, but simultaneously, neither wants to risk tasting that devastating concrete just to advance. It is a brilliant display of incredibly tense, high-stakes spatial awareness.
Clinton is relentlessly stalking Rafin like a hungry phantom himself now. He is methodically probing every single heavy braking zone for any tiny geometric weakness in Rafin's defensive lines. Their battle for 7th place is absolutely mesmerising to watch unfold here today.
Oh, look at that. Absolute mess. Alpha Quad seems completely disoriented out there on the circuit, bizarrely facing the wrong way. Rafin gratefully sweeps straight past him to successfully inherit 6th place. The spatial confusion Alpha is experiencing is genuinely staggering. You must keep your visual focus locked firmly on the distant horizon here, otherwise these identical walls completely disorient your driving senses.
But Alpha Quad immediately snaps out of his bizarre trance, sharply spins his car back into the proper direction, and furiously charges directly after Rafin. In a truly breathtaking display of raw acceleration, he forcefully muscles his way straight back, past into 6th position. What an incredibly chaotic, totally unpredictable sequence of events. The momentum swings in this fascinating race are genuinely defying.
Further forward, MTG is intelligently biding his time just behind Muzza for 3rd place. He recognises that Muzza is furiously overdriving that wounded machinery, likely overheating those rear tyres with every single aggressive corner exit. By patiently sitting in the aerodynamic tow, MTG efficiently saves crucial fuel and comfortably preserves his own rubber, methodically preparing for a highly calculated decisive strike when
Looking backwards again, Rafin continuously stalks Clinton relentlessly through the
Bailey securely commands the overall leaderboard ahead of Bourne. Muzza barely clings on to 3rd from MTG with Tomo 5th, Alpha Quad 6th, and Rafin constantly fighting Clinton.
Clinton expertly reverses the pressure, aggressively stalking Rafin through every single tight corner. Rafin's rear mirrors are completely full of headlights, but he is incredibly holding his absolute nerve despite that heavily loose bonnet violently flapping around and seriously obstructing his forward aerodynamic downforce in these critical braking.
Clinton continues probing for any gap. Interestingly up front, Bailey is still continuously blaring that heavy metal music. Bourne sits comfortably behind in 2nd, utterly refusing to mount a...
Bourne is executing an absolutely perfect strategy. He will brilliantly let Bailey physically battle the dangerous paranormal entity while staying safely tucked away from 1st place until the final lap of the racing distance.
While you obsess over Ghosts, Rafin is physically defending for his absolute life against Clinton right here. The genuine competitive tension is incredibly palpable, even at the back of the field.
Rafin aggressively shadows Clinton, placing his car exactly into the turbulent wheel tracks. They are dancing around these unforgiving concrete barriers with zero margin for any error. Neither driver is willing to surrender a single millimetre of this brutally narrow circuit. It is a breathtaking game of high-speed intimidation, pushing their degraded tyres far beyond the normal limits of sensible mechanical racing grip today.
Back up front, Bailey's lap times are impressively holding steady despite the pressure. However, surely his delicate eardrums are degrading rapidly with that absurdly loud music blasting through his helmet communications. This situation is completely absurd. He is supposedly physically battling a supernatural hallucination just to safely stay in the lead of this professional race. It completely defies all logic and standard racing technique entirely.
It is absolutely not a hallucination, Ant. He is successfully deafening the terrifying ghoul of Long Beach. The unbeatable curse is finally cracking under the sheer power of loud heavy metal music right now.
Oh dear, Alpha Quad is unfortunately stranded on track again. He has completely lost his geographical bearings today.
Alpha Quad briefly stalls in confusion, seemingly forgetting the location.
Once again, Alpha Quad triggers local yellows as he dramatically slows, but thankfully he gets that battered machine rolling before causing a major incident. He is just struggling terribly with rear grip everywhere out there.
I genuinely think the frustrated Ghost might just be deliberately confusing Alpha Quad purely for its own cruel amusement right now. It cannot catch Bailey, so it is just torturing the midfield drivers instead.
He is simply having an absolute nightmare of a race mechanically. Not every single driver error requires a full supernatural exorcism to rationally explain it, mate. Sometimes tyres just lose their optimal operating temperature.
Wait, look behind. That was absolutely brutal. Rafin and Clinton just seemingly magnetically attracted themselves directly into the concrete barriers there. That was a completely bizarre, inexplicable...
They aggressively collided inside the corner, both Rafin and Clinton dramatically understeered straight into the unforgiving concrete. You physically cannot turn a car at those impossible entry speeds. They miraculously...
See, maybe the terrified ghoul got completely deafened by Martin's aggressive music and simply wandered down the order searching for much easier targets. It is taking out the mid-pack purely out of ghostly spite.
I really hate to admit it out loud, Martin, but there is absolutely no logical aerodynamic explanation left to justify these bizarre wrecks. The sheer volume of identical crashes today is genuinely, utterly unsettling.
You are finally believing me. The paranormal is undeniably real, and Martin Bailey is currently defeating it through the sheer power of heavy metal. He is actively outdriving an angry ghost for spectacular victory. He has successfully done it. Martin Bailey brilliantly broke the legendary curse of Long Beach. The hungry ghoul starves tonight on the streets.
The time absolutely expires on this chaotic race. Bailey leads Bourne and Muzzer as we eagerly await the first place driver to finally cross that finish line today.
Martin Bailey smoothly navigates the final few corners. He has built an absolutely massive gap to Bourne behind him. The heavy metal music is carrying him beautifully home. Martin Bailey triumphantly takes the checkered flag to win this race.
An incredible victory for Bailey. He managed the relentless pressure flawlessly from start to finish out there.
Daniel Bourne successfully crosses the line to secure second place, while Muzzer drags his heavily battered machine home to claim a truly miraculous third position.
Oh, unbelievable. Bourne immediately crashes his car straight into the concrete wall right after crossing the finish line. His concentration just completely vanished instantly there.
MTG brings his car across the line to take a thoroughly well-deserved fourth place, finishing just barely ahead of Tomo in fifth. Tomo drove an incredibly smart race after that early pit stop, skillfully avoiding the chaotic, ghostly carnage that completely decimated the rest of the struggling field ahead of him all afternoon long today. And look closely at Daniel Bourne. He takes second, immediately inheriting that cursed airspace at the front after Bailey crosses the line and instantly violently crashes the paranormal Long Beach curse. Absolutely never ever misses its mark.
The curse was indeed broken by Bailey today, but it certainly left absolutely plenty of battered cars and bewildered victims in its wake.
Alpha Quad finally crosses safely to take 6, while a heavily damaged Rayfin limps home in 7th position. Clinton Norchi successfully rounds out our surviving field, bravely bringing his battered machine across the checkered line in 8th place overall today. Thank you absolutely everyone for joining us. The new championship season officially starts very soon, so please subscribe if you have not already for much more of this unbelievable motorsport craziness. Goodbye from the haunted concrete streets of sunny Long Beach today.